And I think that it would be devastating to the Warhammer universe and to the Astra Militarum if they were like, the Emperor's dead.
Welcome back to TNT Gaming. I'm your girl Tasha.
I'm T.
Long time no see, peeps.
Yeah. All right, so we are finally jumping back into Warhammer.
The Grimdark.
Yes. How do you feel about the Grimdark so far? Out of everything that we've learned, especially about hive cities, the factions, all the lore and everything that you've taken in, like, how do you feel?
Overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is overwhelming.
Yes, and I think someone wanted me to stop saying that I was overwhelmed.
Yeah, right.
It's a lot.
And that's the thing. I think that every time we watch one of these videos, it kind of builds on some of the knowledge that we already know. But things are just so bad, and it doesn't get good. Out of the entire time that we've been doing these videos and we've been learning about the Grimdark and all the factions, the Chaos Gods, the aliens and all this other shit, it's like everything is just terrible.
Yeah.
And in the Warhammer universe, it just seems like the more terrible you are, the, I guess, more successful your race is. And one of the questions that you've always asked was, is there any good? You're always looking for this ray of hope. Right.
Yeah.
And so
some kind of happiness.
Right, yeah.
You know?
And I think that's what we're gonna do today. Out of all the factions that we've watched so far, there was one faction that seemed kind of good, which were the Salamanders. And I think that's what we're gonna
I was shocked about that because when we
so
did the
about
Pariah Nexus, I think it was shocking because of how he looked.
Yeah.
He kind of looked a little unusual and menacing. I mean, a lot of them do.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But the kindness that he showed to the people and the children especially, there was that humanity that I didn't see in the other soldier, the sister soldier.
Oh,
you remember her? Yeah. She was ready to off him like
but
right
you know
away.
What? That's what's crazy about Warhammer universe is that there's hardly any characters in there that kind of show that level of humanity that we have as humans. They all think on a fanatical kind of way, you know, and of course in an obsession with the Emperor as well.
Yeah, especially they've gone through so many changes to where I did wonder, was there any humanity left within them?
So and it's funny because after watching the anatomy breakdown video and you see the kind of training that they go through,
and
the conditioning, right? And so it's almost like they just rip it out of them in order for them to be, you know, the soldiers that they are. So we're going to go ahead and jump into this video. We're going to learn a little bit more about the Salamanders.
Cool.
Y'all can leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. Let us know who your favorite factions are and what factions we should check out next. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump into this.
So guys, this is thanks to the Remembrancer. The original video will be linked in the description down below. So shout out to them for this video.
On the anvil of war are the strong-tempered, and the weak made to perish. Thus are men's souls tested, as metal in the forge's fire.
Vulcan.
The angels of death are regarded as the Emperor's will made manifest, descending from the heavens onto the bleakest of battlefields to fell the enemies of humanity in its hours of greatest need. Gleaming in their panoplies of war, they are resplendent reminders to the servants of the Imperium that they shall be protected from the darkness. Yet of all the chapters of the Space Marines, there is one above all that protects the weak and embodies the mercy of the Emperor. The 18th Legion of the Adeptus Astartes, the Salamanders. Known during the Unification Wars as the Dragon Warriors, the 18th Legion, like all of the proto-legions of the Adeptus Astartes, would be secluded from their peers, particularly the Dragon Warriors and their so-called trefoil kin of the 6th and 20th Legions. Their deeds and battle honors obscured from history, the 18th Legion, due to their secretive origins, would be regarded with suspicion by the other legions, garnering a reputation with their first engagement at the assault of the Tempest Galleries during 800 M30. The Dragon Warriors would achieve a near impossible victory alone against all odds of survival. Suffering incredible losses and reducing their number from over 20,000 Astartes to as little as 1,000 battle brothers, the Dragon Warriors would secure a reputation as bloodied yet glorious and honorable combatants.
Like
Rapidly replenishing
meat
their numbers, the Dragon Warriors would be
it's tenderizing flesh.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
It's like a meat tenderizer.
That's what I said, babe. Open your ears.
supplied with new war gear. Rapidly reputation as bloodied yet glorious and honorable combatants. Rapidly replenishing their numbers, the Dragon Warriors would be supplied with new war gear as the favored sons of the newly born Imperium, yet be stalled in taking part in the many expeditions of the early days of the Great Crusade. Rarely serving as a legion, the 18th would be split into smaller battalions to reinforce battle groups across the Imperium. Often assigned to crucial engagements against space hulks or Xenos raiding parties behind the lines of the advancing waves of forces of the Crusade. Cooperating closely with human military forces as the only space marines in service, the Dragon Warriors would brave the most hazardous and deadly theaters of war, earning the Legion many accolades as saviors, bastions of hope, and the personification of the Emperor's protection and grace. Yet as a result of their conflicts, the Legion would never replenish to its full strength akin to the standards of the other legions. Their survival and continuation as a legion, uncertain, during their 4th decade of service, until the return of their Primarch, Vulcan. Found on the death world of Nocturne, Vulcan would not be reunited with his legion for many years. Tutored by the Emperor himself, the Primarch of the 18th Legion would be tempered with the ruler of mankind's boundless wisdom, and in the hour of his legion's greatest need, he would be returned to them. On the cluster of planets near the Taurus division, the 18th Legion of 19,000 Astartes would be besieged by a horde of millions of the Orc Xenos.
Damn.
Facing overwhelming odds, the Dragon Warriors would be under the command of their chapter master, Cassian Vaughn. Evacuating the civilian populations of the system, the 18th Legion would suffer terrible losses for their compassion. Refusing to stand idle whilst his sons perished, Vulcan would aid his legion alongside 3,000 initiates from his homeworld of Nocturne. Spurring the Dragon Warriors' survivors, Vulcan would lead the counterattack and purge the Xenos from the system. The two halves of the Legion would unite in the aftermath of the battle, with Vulcan revealing himself to his long-lost sons. The Dragon Warriors would kneel before their Gene-Father, yet be bid to stand by Vulcan, declaring that all of his sons were equals, for Vulcan would not be regarded as some petty king demanding obedience. Instead, Vulcan would kneel before his legion to honor the lives that had been lost as payment to protect the innocents that had fled the system. Henceforth, the legion would be remade under the tutelage of their Primarch. These were Dragon Warriors no longer. The 18th would now bear a different name, a name derived from their Primarch's homeworld of Nocturne, the Salamanders.
Wow.
Divided into 7 great companies led by a Lord Commander or Protector born from each of Nocturne's settlements, the Salamanders would field 34 companies during the Great Crusade. Always acknowledged as the smallest in number amongst all of the legions of Adeptus Astartes, the Salamanders would compensate for their scale by implementing new battle doctrines and strategies. Encouraging self-sufficiency and autonomy, Vulcan would enable each settlement to foster their own cultural traditions within their companies, further buttressing the Legion's relationships to their human counterparts within their lands. Yet with the dawn of a new age for the Salamanders, a new darker future would begin with the embers of betrayal and heresy. Called to face the traitor War Master, Horus Lupercal, the Salamanders would accompany the Iron Hands and Raven Guard legions to prevent the rebellion of the traitor Astartes and their Primarchs from growing in number. Sent as the spear tip to crush the 4 traitor legions of the Death Guard, World Eaters, Emperor's Children, and Sons of Horus, the Loyalists would crush the rebellion with the amassed strength of 7 legions, soon to be reinforced by the Iron Warriors, Night Lords, Word Bearers, and Alpha Legion. However, the Loyalist legions would be betrayed by their allies during the Dropside Massacre of Istvan V, with the Salamanders losing their Primarch and being broken under the heel of the traitors. Shattered into fragments of their newly rebuilt glory, the 18th Legion and its fellow fractured legionaries would retreat from the massacre. With first captain of the Salamanders, Artellus Numion, leading the scattered forces of his legion to safety. Finding shelter on the ultramarine planet of Macragge, the Salamanders would bear the shame of their defeat and loss of their Primarch, as the galaxy would be split in two. Imperium Secundus would be formed by Rabute Guilliman, Primarch of the Ultramarines, with Ultramar as the newly formed contingent empire should the Imperium fall to the wrath of the traitors. Yet in their darkest hour, the Salamanders would find a sliver of hope with the return of their Primarch, Vulcan.
Oh shit.
Vulcan's return to his legion would be as much a gift as an omen.
Wow. And so that was something that I've always kind of wondered as well, was what happens to the legions when they actually lose their Primarch? Because, you know, they said that I thought Vulcan had died, but
yeah, I did too.
He didn't.
He risen for them dead.
Right. And of course, we know that a lot of the Space Marines, they come from like the gene seed. They come from the DNA from their actual Primarch. And so if you lose a Primarch, do they have that DNA stored somewhere so that they can continue to make more of those soldiers? Yeah,
but I thought in another video they were talking about something like that, how they got the DNA and was like splicing it from like some of the guys,
that's what I'm saying.
Maybe it was saved somewhere.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Right.
But this is very interesting because I'm thinking, I don't want to say if their kindness was a weakness, but they're such a small legion,
right?
And to be so caring and thoughtful.
They said that they're the only representation, or they are the representation of the Emperor's mercy. Yeah. And so maybe that is a weakness, kind of, because then it could get you in trouble where you need to say you're thinking about saving people or helping the humans or whatever versus destroying the enemy.
Right.
Yikes. Yeah, and maybe y'all can kind of fill us in the comment section if that kind of happened within the faction, because I feel like, you know, they're not going to get into those kind of stories, but I could see how that would be a problem for the Salamanders.
Of hope with the return of their Primarch, Vulcan. Vulcan's return to his legion would be as much a gift as an omen. His mind and body broken, the legion's survival would fall to Artellus Numion to forge a path to redemption. Venturing to their homeworld of Nocturne, Numion would sacrifice his own life to reawaken his Primarch and renew the fire within his legion. Primarch Vulcan would journey to Holy Terror to aid in its defense, leaving his Salamanders to independently face their duty in defending the Imperium. Allying themselves with their battle-forged brothers of the Iron Hands and Raven Guard, the Salamanders would conduct guerrilla war strikes against the traitor forces until the end of the Horus Heresy, reforging their legion in the subsequent millennia to face the darkness alone until their Primarch should return to them. Too few in number to be divided into successor chapters, the Salamanders would rebuild, their numbers able to bear new chapters at the dawn of the 42nd millennium, with the introduction of the Primaris Space Marines into their ranks. Though some mysterious chapters bear the heraldry of the 18th Legion, their origins likely born from stockpiles of the Salamanders' gene seed. Regardless of their lackluster numbers, the Salamanders have grown synonymous with the Legion's reputations as true bulwarks against the ruinous powers. Their compassion for humanity and unbreakable duty to preserve the will of the Emperor, known across the Imperium. For it is believed by the Salamanders chapter that one day their Primarch shall return to them, once all the artifacts of Vulcan have been found, and with their return to their chapter, their retribution shall be at hand. The Salamander's gene seed bears a unique trait unlike many of those of the founding legions. Similar to the gene seed of the Alpha Legion and Space Wolves, the gene seed of the Salamanders was constructed by the Emperor for a unique purpose. The exact purpose has been lost to history, with only the Emperor likely aware of its design, but with the efforts of the Magos Biologists, a theoretical has been achieved. The determination from such study shows that the Salamander's gene seed is uncorrupted and stable in nature. Oddly, the Salamander's reaction time seem to be slower than other Astartes as a direct defect from their gene seed, though some within the biologists regard this as a result of the chapter's homeworld's high gravity or psycho-conditioning, though this trait is mitigated once an 18th Legion Astartes is equipped with power armor. The radiation of Nocturne has also caused the Legion's characteristic jet black skin and bright red, burning eyes.
Wow.
A superficial characteristic, it nonetheless has proven useful during deployments to rebellious worlds in intimidating the populace and allowing for compliance without the use of force. Yet the Salamanders do bear positive traits as a result of their unique gene crafting, such as firesight, the ability for the sons of Vulcan to see infrared emissions of specific heat signatures without the aid of helmet visors, allowing for the Salamanders to implement thermic materials into their armor and vehicles to enable the chapter to conduct midnight raids and skirmishes while still being able to clearly identify allied combatants and vehicles, also allowing the chapter to use such materials to create tactical markings and communications that can otherwise not be seen by the naked eye. Alike to some of its contemporary legions, such as the Space Wolves and Blood Angels, recruitment amongst the 18th Legion is an arduous process, yielding few new members. Each company recruits solely from the citizenry of their clan. As such, each company comprises solely of fellow clan members, bolstering their bonds of kinship, of unrivaled loyalty and respect. From the ages of 6 to 8, prospective Nocturne recruits work within the forge of a Salamander's Space Marine. Monitored for signs of talent, the initiates will work for years under the tutelage of the Astartes, and should they show
the ages of 6 and 8?
Yeah. They're putting you to work.
Wow. Should be in kindergarten.
But you know, the funny thing is that they have to start them that young because of how long the training is.
Yeah.
And even when they start the kids that young, they're still gonna filter through thousands of them and only to get a handful.
Wow.
Because if you remember, they were talking about how so few survive the process of becoming a space marine.
Work within the forge of a Salamander's Space Marine. Monitored for signs of talent, the initiates will work for years under the tutelage of the Astartes, and should they show promise, be cross-examined by the chapter's apothecaries and chaplains. The chosen few undergo the first stages of organ implantation, receiving further procedures as they endure and accomplish the trials set before them. Molded in the image of their Primarch, the neophytes will be set tasks replicating the feats of their Genefather's youth, culminating in the trial of hunting a salamander, honoring the original contest between Vulcan and the Emperor of Mankind. As a Codex Astartes compliant chapter, the Salamanders adhere to the doctrine of 10 companies, numbering 1,000 Space Marines. Equipped with armor and weaponry often crafted by their own hand, the Astartes of the Salamanders chapter are revered for their skill at the forge. Their war gear regularly adorned with symbols of scales, anvils, flames, and the iconic Salamander's Drakes of Nocturne. Their armor a bright green hue, often marked with a golden aquila on the chestplate. Their right pauldrons displaying their tactical designation, whether it be battle line, close support, fire support, veteran, or command staff. The battle and reserve companies adding a low Gothic numeral of their designated role to assign their squad. Their company is shown on the left shoulder plate, each company represented with the head of a large salamander, with contrasting colors to identify their company, as outlined by the Codex Astartes. Yet the 18th Legion retains its custom of dividing their number amongst 7 warrior houses akin to their original Legion structure. Each company inhabits one of the great settlements of Nocturne, and comprises of 12 battle squads, as standard, with the chapter master of the Salamanders directly overseeing and eschewing the need for a company captain by commanding the first company, the Fire Drakes. Comprised entirely of veteran warriors of the Legion and paragons of their values, the Fire Drakes are armed with Terminator armor, Stern Guard veterans, and venerable dreadnoughts. Fielding no barracks, the first company reside within the chapter's fortress monastery on Nocturne's moon of Prometheus, directing training cadres, coordinating security protocols, and maintaining the honor guard of the chapter. The senior lieutenants of the chapter master undertake much of the chapter's leadership duties. The second company, the Defenders of Nocturne, aid the most vulnerable subjects of the Imperium. Often protecting Imperial citizenry, such as factory workers, the second company is often ready to aid allied Imperial forces, such as the Astra Militarum or Knight Houses, boosting the morale of Imperium forces and undertaking leadership roles during deployment. The third company, the Pyroclasts, are synonymous with flame weaponry, rooting out entrenched enemy positions and purging heretics and Xenos alike with holy fire. The third company also bear the burden of cleansing populaces of corrupted sympathizers of Xenos, forever balanced on the knife edge of adhering to the Promethean creed and teachings of Vulcan. The fourth company, the Branded, serve the chapter as their bastion of faith. Closely tied to the chapter's reclusiasm, the members of the fourth company compulsively and ritualistically brand their flesh as a show of faith to their beliefs. Specializing in close quarters combat, the fourth company's large composition of chaplains fill the company's spirits with unmatched zealous fury.
He looked like a Rasta salamander.
Say it again. Hey, man.
I see.
The fifth company, the Drake Hunters, are renowned for their ability to fell gargantuan Xenos and enemy fortifications. Respected hunters of nocturne salamander drakes, the reserve company rarely fight as a consolidated company, rather supplying their members to bolster the four battle companies during protracted campaigns. Favoring mobile weapon platforms and static defenses, the 5th Company squad employs a large number of dreadnoughts and an extensive variety of gunships and attack crafts. The 6th Company, the Flamehammers, are composed of fast-moving transports armed with heavy firepower. The 1st Company to comprise Space Marines who have fulfilled their duty as Scout Marines. The Flamehammers enable the deployment and evacuation of squadrons within the thick of battle. And finally, the 7th Company, the Sons of Nocturne, consist of Vanguard and Scout Marines. Complying to the exacting standards of the Codex Astartes neophyte training regimes, the Sons of Nocturne spill their blood and prove their mettle in the name of their Primarch, so that one day they shall don the full plate armor and heraldry of their battle brothers. Their reformation relatively new to the chapter, since its abandonment prior to the second founding of the Adeptus Astartes. Each Salamander Astartes rank is denoted by their helmet coloring, with sergeants painting a white skull, veteran sergeants a white skull with a crown of fire, lieutenants' helms show a white skull with a centered stripe, and captains bear more ornate helmets centered with the white skull. Their right pauldrons additionally denoting their rank. Specialized roles within the chapter also adhere to the guidance of the Codex Astartes. Chaplains paint their armor in the black of the reclusiasm, and librarians paint their armor blue, both alike to their cousin chapters' customs, whilst the chapter's tech marines deviate slightly from their fellow loyalist chapters by only painting their arms in the red heraldry of Mars, whilst retaining the green armor of their chapter. Deviating further from the Codex Astartes, the chapter maintains not one, but 3 Masters of the Forge, enabling the chapter to effectively maintain their machinery, panoplies of war, weapons, artifacts, and honoring their heritage as Masters of the Craft of weaponsmithing. The chapter master is given the utmost command of the chapter, yet maintains the Pantheon Council to provide support and discussion on the appointments of its members and campaigns fought across the stars. Their master of the fleet known as the Lord of the Burning Skies, commanding their battle barges and strike cruisers to enact the will of the Imperium on distant worlds and battlefields. For the Sons of Nocturne shall cleanse a path through the filth of the galaxy, their embers of their homeworld revivifying their morale and courageous charges into the dark corners of far-flung worlds.
Unless you are capable of enduring whatever hurt you can inflict, there will come a time when you will fail. And by failing you will have made useless the sacrifice of millions. We are the Salamanders, and we will endure. For no sacrifice made in the name of this great empire we seek to build shall be made in vain.
This has been a tale of the great Imperium of Man.
Good tale.
Read by the Remembrancer. Sons of Nocturne, I hope this transmission has stoked the flames within you. Yet there is another chapter on the horizon to elucidate. The secretive 20th Legion, known as the Alpha Legion.
Pretty cool.
All right, what did you think?
Yeah, I enjoyed this.
Yeah.
I noticed though that the Vulcan,
The Primarch?
the Primarch, you kind of favor him.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you can call me Vulcan then.
Is that what you want to be called?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I kind of
You Vulcan for Halloween.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah. Give me some green armor.
I really love the details in this.
Oh yeah.
Just from the Primarch to the soldiers to like down to their armor and their weapons. Very interesting story. I kind of was confused about how he died, the Primarch.
Yes. That's something I wanted to talk about as well.
Yeah, because I'm like, did he leave that out on purpose?
Right,
or
yeah.
what's the deal with that? And then he came back because someone sacrificed himself.
Right. And then it was like he disappeared again.
Yeah.
So I do agree with you. I love the detail that they go into with some of these videos because it lets you know how structured the factions are. You know, it's just not a bunch of ragtag soldiers or ragtag band of Astartes just forming together and saying, hey, we're going to go fight and do this. It's like there's a hierarchy. There's multiple hierarchies of things. And it really shows how well oiled of a machine the Imperium is, or at least some of these factions are, because they can't move unless somebody tells them to move.
Right.
Now, as in the case with Vulcan, I was a little confused, as you said, because you know, he disappeared, he came back, he disappeared again.
Yeah.
You don't really know what happened to him, but I believe that he had mentioned something about the Salamanders are fighting in hopes of their Primarch returning. And so maybe you guys can fill us in.
Well,
in the
they said they had to get pieces.
Yeah, get these pieces of some kind of relic together.
Yeah, and it kind of made me think about the jewel shards from Inuyasha.
Oh.
Like it's just spread all across
yeah.
the universe or
Right.
something, and once they put it together, then they're
Right.
gonna find another piece missing,
Right.
or the jewel shard fracture into more scattered pieces.
Yeah. Now the interesting thing about Warhammer though is that even when people have died or
they don't come back.
Yeah, well,
Except for this Primarch.
well, sometimes they might come back because essentially when you die, your soul goes to the warp.
Yeah.
And there are people who are, or there are Primarchs who are actually in the warp.
Okay.
Who kind of maybe go back and forth between the warp and the real
So,
world.
question about the warp. When you go into the warp and somehow you come back out, are you the same person? Are you
Most of the time,
like
not.
you turn
Most of the time,
into
you're
someone,
corrupted. Yeah.
Or you turn into something
Yeah,
else.
yeah. Because
Okay.
we really we talked about the corrupted Space Marines, but we never really went into detail.
Okay.
Because there are Primarchs like Horus who become corrupted from the demons in the warp, and I don't know if he kind of goes back and forth or he just stays on the regular plane of reality and just accepts influence from them. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So I don't, maybe that's another video we can cover.
Yeah.
But I do know that there are characters like the Emperor who is on a life support machine.
He looks
And-
crazy,
yeah,
by the way.
well, I mean, see, this is the thing that a lot of Warhammer guys don't talk about. They don't really say if it's the actual machine that's keeping the gate open or whatever, or if the Emperor is really dead.
Yeah.
Because from the pictures we've seen, he's just a skull on
he looks
a
crazy.
throne.
Yeah.
And then when you think about it, the machine that's keeping him alive, when you think about an actual life support machine, technically the person is dead.
Brain dead.
Yeah, they're brain dead. And so they're not alive, but it's the machine that's kind of keeping them going. And maybe they're just keeping the Emperor
Where the spirits
somewhat
are
alive
keeping
just
him alive.
to keep people's morale up.
I don't know. I think it's the spirits that he's being fed.
Oh, yeah. Well, all right, so the spirits that he's being fed could just be energy. Because, all right, and put it in the same aspect of a life support machine.
Okay.
If you plug the life support machine into the wall and it's getting electricity, the electricity is keeping it going. And so them sacrificing psychers could possibly be the energy that is keeping the machine going, but not technically keeping the Emperor alive. So maybe that's something that we have to look into, because I mean, it's a fucking skull on a
He
throne.
got a little skin.
I ain't seen no skin. I saw a skull with missing eyeballs and all that shit. It looked dead. And I think that it would be devastating to the Warhammer universe and to the Astra Militarum if they were like, the Emperor's dead and he's gone and that's it.
Oh.
You know, that would destroy morale.
Okay.
So maybe the myth is that he's still alive. You just have to believe.
Oh.
Anyway, guys, we're going to go ahead and get up out of here. Y'all can leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. Let us know, is the Emperor really dead?
Oh.
Or are the Psychers and the
He's
souls
alive.
keeping him alive?
He's
You're
alive.
ignorant. All right, guys, we'll see y'all next time. Take care. Peace.